Well, Syria is at war, and this war is being conducted today on the ground, but also in what we call the media sphere. The media at war, and as society gets polarized, so the media coverage gets polarized. And today we are seeing an overwhelming amount of the information, various sources, the different coverages, and they are not neutral. This creates a very problematic situation, because instead of really creating the space for dialogue, the media pushes people into the various camps. They're pushing the dramatic context in order to get more viewership, that this coverage is very sensationalized. If you continue to really, shoot to people, the over dramatic images, as dramatic and also true these images might be, we will face at some point the numbness of the society. We have to talk about Syria on a regular basis. We have to talk about what is happening on the ground, but also on the problems that are less visible, because being based only on the dramatic moments neglects the situation of the people during the times where this attention, the world's attention or the media attention, is not there. I think the access of the media to the certain places in Syria today has been the biggest challenge to the coverage on Syria. The restrictions put on the access to the events inside the country, the danger that the journalists would have to face if they decided to cover, are just simply unacceptable for the industry. This all forced the journalists to look for the sources elsewhere. Some journalists that I know are doing an amazing job with that. They really go an extra mile to verify this information, to develop the relation, to kind of cross-check the resources, but many others don't. And with the industry that keeps rushing today, that is extremely dynamic, that needs to break the news right here and right now, this verification is just simply too time consuming. So we end up having dramatic images that sometimes might not necessarily be true. We are getting, the stories published with the images that don't really come from Syria at times. This all impacts the credibility of the journalism, and it affects the media that actually try to do their best in providing the right, professional coverage of the conflict. I think Syria is one of this example where the ICRC has to step up into the very new role of being a service for many of the journalists covering the conflict. Why is that? Because we have the moral obligation to pass, the messages, to be the voice of the people who entrusted us with their stories. At the end of the day, we go to the field on a regular basis. We cross the front lines. We meet the people, and those people tell us their stories. So, for instance, we developed multiple, let's say, tools and kind of platforms to actually facilitate the relationship between, content gathering and the media coverage. We have audiovisual archive, we have the newsroom, we usually push the breaking news via our Twitter account, and this is exactly what the media found very useful. The difference between the ICRC and the media is that, we also have an obligation to protect people's dignity. We have a responsibility to ensure that whatever we will pass across, about the people we meet, will not put them in danger. And this responsibility is what makes us different than the media. At the end of the day, having the unique access makes us determining that we have a choice what images to show and what image not to show. I really hope that what we are doing today will change the mindset of how our public thinks, as the journalist has this responsibility to keep fighting for changing the mindset of the general coverage of the countries or the conflicts like Syria. Because if we just only follow the ratings, we risk ending up in the situation where everything is just simplified. We have to go an extra mile and push the content that is a little bit less popular. And of course, we have to find the ways in order to meet the certain industry standards in that, in order for people to get engaged with this. But that our responsibility is to keep challenging the industry as well.